Hey everyone, welcome back to another Random Review Tuesday where we review random products from my makeup collection that I haven't seen a lot of reviews on. So today we are reviewing the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. This says all day wear, broad spectrum SPF 18 sunscreen. That's not enough sunscreen for your everyday. Please wear an SPF regardless of that. And I have the shade Shell L0. Very fair. So right off the bat, I'm just kind of gonna swatch it on the back of my hand for you. So you can see it's pretty thick. It's not dripping down my hand. It has a bit of a peachy tone to it, which isn't really showing up on camera as much as it is in real life. It is definitely cool toned. I would say it's about a medium viscosity. It's not like super cakey thick, but it's not fluid by any means. And I don't know if you can see it on camera. There are little micro reflective particles in it. They're very, very tiny. So there are by no means a shimmer in this. There's not shimmer, there's not glitter in it. It's not gonna look like shimmer on the face, but that sheen that's coming from it, yes, is partially because it's wet, but it also is those little micro reflective particles, which I believe is either mica or the titanium dioxide. Yeah, there's a very low amount of mica in here, so that's probably what that is. It's very subtle. I have no primer on my skin. I just kind of want to put this over my skincare and just see how it wears on its own without a primer. I'm gonna set it with powder and setting spray, obviously, but we're gonna see how it goes without a primer because I don't always wear one. So I'm just gonna put it on the back of my hand. I'm gonna start with 2 pumps plus the one that's already on my hand, and then I'm gonna do one side with a sponge, one side with a brush. I already know that I prefer this with a sponge and with my fingers, but I'll apply it with the brush just so you can see. I'll apply, maybe it'll give us some more coverage over that little fun area right there. So I'm just gonna pick it up directly with the sponge on the back of my hand and then just start tapping it on. So right off the bat, I would say this is a medium coverage, because it is definitely covering, but it is not, you can still see those like acne scars underneath. But yeah, that redness on my chin just instantly disappeared. And I only used about half of what was on my hand. And I still have a lot. Okay, so it's going a pretty long way. So that is one side with and one side without, and that was applied with a sponge. So with the sponge, you can see my freckles and my acne scars through it, but it is much less. Like if I back up, it's covered. It's pretty covered. It's like covered to the point that I say like that you don't think that it's covered, but then at night when you're taking your makeup off and you like actually cleanse it off, you're like, oh, it covered more than I thought it did, you know? Okay, and then on this side of my face, we are going to use a foundation brush. This is the Rare Beauty foundation brush. This is my favorite foundation brush, so I'm just gonna pick that up and we're just gonna do a sweep. Let's just see how it covers right there. So I am actually gonna add another pump to the back of my hand, because the sponge does pick up a lot of product. So I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more. So I've picked up about like 1/4 to 1/3 of that pump. I'm just gonna do little strokes. Okay, and then that's with one layer with a sponge and with a brush. I think they both look good. And I feel like this is always what I get with the brush. Using the brush, like the peach fuzz on my face is just more noticeable, but I feel like that's with anything. But yeah, you can see up close, there's not a huge difference. This side with the brush, side with the sponge. They really kind of look the same, but I just prefer the side with the sponge. It just looks little bit more like sunken into the skin and like it's a part of my skin, if that makes any sense. But it is barely noticeable. But I am going to build it up a little bit, like right here. I have those like active breakouts, so I'm going to do that by like lightly tapping it with the brush, because the brush is obviously going to give more coverage. And with the light tapping, you're gonna make sure that you don't lift up any of the product. I'm just gonna lightly go on top of it. Okay, so that is the foundation applied on the skin. This is how much I still have left on my hand. I feel like this is it wet on the skin. It's not oxidizing, which I don't notice with this foundation. This foundation for me does not oxidize. It stays true to the color. It has like, obviously it dries down a little bit, but it doesn't like shift color. Like it's not like you're gonna buy one color, put it on, set it, and then you're gonna be a different color. You're gonna be the color that this is. There it is again, up close. So you can see my skin texture. Again, no filters. I don't know how to put those on videos, nor would I. First impressions, just like putting it on the skin, I think it looks very nice. It has that nice healthy glow to it, but like I said, you can't see the actual like reflective particles in it, which is really nice. And it is a medium coverage. I'm sure you could build it up. Let's take like this little patch of freckles right here and let's try and build it up. That was the sponge side, so I'm just gonna take more on the sponge, lightly tap over the area so that we're not lifting product up, just putting it down. Okay, that definitely covered it more. You can still see them, but it definitely covered it more. So I would say it's buildable to a point. I don't think you're gonna get like full max coverage from this, but I've also, the times that I've worn it, I feel like less is more with this foundation. The more that I put on, and if I try and do like a full like mask of foundation, it looks good, but I don't always love it. I think that this is a foundation that's really like going to enhance your skin. So that is it. Close up, that's the forehead. Let's get that. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of concealer under my eyes and my lids, and then I will be right back and we will set it with powder. Okay, so now my concealer is on and my under eyes and my eyelids are set. That is the only place that is set. That's the only place that had concealer. We are going to set the face with powder together. But first I just want to go over the packaging. I realized I forgot to talk about that. So it is a glass bottle. It's a very nice glass bottle. It has some weight to it. And it has this like rose gold detailing that says flower right on the cap. The cap is plastic, but it doesn't feel like, it's pretty thick. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break or anything. And it has this rose gold detailing on the pump. And obviously it has a pump. I think it's like a very like upscale looking packaging. And so I really like that about it too, that the packaging doesn't look cheap. I think this is also a $14 foundation. I'll put the exact price on the screen, but it's affordable. It's a little bit up there for drugstore, but again, drugstore prices are climbing like crazy. So yeah, this is an affordable foundation. It's not a $40, $50 foundation by any means. But it has that like luxe feel to it, which I really like. I really debated about what powder to set this with because this is my favorite powder. This is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate powder. There's like barely any of it left, but I figure we can make it work. And I do like to set with a powder puff, so we're gonna make it work. We are going to it up, and then we are going to set the face. Also, I don't like to set it immediately. I do like to let the product kind of sink into the skin on its own, so that way if it's going to settle into any lines or I don't know, oxidize or look weird, I do that before it's fully set. I don't like to set wet foundation because then it creates like a putty mud on your face and it's just not cute. So it is still a little bit tacky. It does not fully set on its own. As you can see, like I tapped my face and then there's like a little bit on my fingers, but it is still looking good. But I just wanted to let it set a little bit. So now we're just gonna pick up this powder with a powder puff, and then we're just gonna go and set across the whole face. And I really, when I'm setting my face with a powder puff, I really try and like focus on those areas where I know my makeup breaks up, which for me is right around here. And if I'm eating, it's down here. But like right, like this area right here My makeup will always separate because I always like miss that area with the brush. And this is also not a super matte powder. So yes, it's going to mattify it instantly because it's powder, but it's going to have a more natural finish. It's not going to be super duper matte and powdery. This powder almost gives like an airbrush finish to the skin, so I think it pairs really nicely with this foundation that also has a more natural finish. Like you can see instantly like the difference. So that is the skin. Once it is set with powder, it does not look powdery. There's no powder clinging to any areas. There's no bunching up of the foundation. It just looks very natural. So this is an up close of the foundation. So now I'm going to go finish up the rest of my makeup, and if there's anything to report, if anything looks weird on top of it, I'll let you know, but if not, I will just be back when that is done and we will talk about it. So this is the final look. The foundation is pretty much looking the same. I did use the e.l.f. setting spray, so that is going to help with longevity, obviously, with just like all of the makeup, but nothing has broken up. Everything is still set in place. It still looks really natural. On my eyes is the ColourPop Wild Nothing palette. On my cheeks is the Jaclyn Blush and Bronzing Duo that you know I love. And the lips is NYX lip liner in Cabaret. And this old Bare Minerals lipstick that they don't make anymore probably. And it's just a pink. But so that's the whole look. The foundation. Honestly, the only place like is like right there. But that happens with like every foundation. That it'll like bunch up a little bit like right above my little chin crease. Hopefully you can see that. But everywhere else, I'm gonna get you super close. It just looks very seamless. And like it is a part of the skin as much as like a foundation can be. So what time is it right now? It's 11:30 in the morning right now. I will do check-ins throughout the day and at the end of the night, just so that we can see how the foundation wears throughout the day. So it is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon and the sun is bright. So we are looking a little extra dewy because the sun is like coming from right there. But it's been 3.5 hours. I've been like out and about all day. I'm gonna try and get this in the light so you can see how it's looking dewy, but it's not looking oily, and it's not looking like anything that powder couldn't fix, you know? Like if that was like too much dew for you, you could just tap, 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 powder, 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 down, down, down. Even now, just like, if I tap it with my fingers, it helps it slightly. See? So it's not like oily, greasy by any means. We just have some of that dew coming out from underneath the powder, like I said would happen. But let's get like some nice close up. Now you can see close up how it's looking. Yeah, I think that it still looks really good. There's a little lipstick a little everywhere, so just ignore that. But nothing's broken up. It's worn off a little bit right here. That's because I was wearing sunglasses. So everywhere else, it is fully intact. It still looks the same. There's still no like bunching anywhere except for right here. Yeah, it's holding up really well after 3.5 hours. It essentially looks the same as when we put it on, just a little slightly more dewy because we powdered, so it looked a little bit more matte. So now after 3.5 hours, it looks a little bit dewy, but yeah, it's holding up really well. So it is now 7 at night. We were in the bathroom because the sun is set outside and I have no more light, but we're gonna get some close-ups of the foundation after wearing it for 7.5 hours. It is still holding up very well. It looks the same. It's a little bit dewier still, like right here, because I didn't powder it all throughout the day. So right there is very, that's dewy bordering on oily, but everywhere else is just like that natural dew that would come through the foundation. It's worn off a little bit around the nose again because I was wearing sunglasses all day, but everywhere else, I don't know if you can see a little bit right here, just a little bit of like creasing in where like my mouth moves, and a little bit of breaking up right there where it got oily. I was picking at this today, so it wore off there. But other than that, it has worn beautifully throughout the day. It honestly almost looks the same as when we applied it. For 7.5 hours, a dewy foundation? I'm not mad at this. I'm quite impressed with this actually. I've worn this so many times, I've just never really like thought about it. Wow. Okay, so that is how the foundation wears after almost 8 hours. So yeah, this is definitely, it's a good foundation. It's a great foundation. So if you're looking for a good drugstore dewy foundation that's gonna have like a medium coverage to it and it's gonna have a great wear time, if you're good with the dew, like you want the dew, I recommend this, absolutely. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Okay, I know I already ended this video. I'm whispering because my boyfriend's asleep, like right there. I know I already ended this video, but I haven't taken my makeup off yet, and I'm about to take it off. It is almost 10:30 now, so this has been up for about 11 hours. And so I just wanted to give you a close-up look about how it looks after 11 hours. It's still on, but it's not looking its best. Like around my nose, it's starting to wear off over here because I've been, you know, doing stuff. My forehead is very dewy. Lucille would like to say hi. But it's still on. It is still on. It's just not looking its best right now. But it's been 11 hours. It did say all day wear, but also this is a dewy foundation. So I would expect less than all day wear. But I feel like 11 hours is a long time, and it should be looking worse than this after 11 hours. So I'm very impressed that it still looks even like this. Like my blush is even still on, which is laying on top of my foundation. So overall, I'm very impressed. Okay, just wanted to add that. Bye. My forehead is very dewy. Lucille would like to say hi.